we are counting down the 8 most dangerously intelligent strategies ever forged, ranking each for how cold, calculated, and transformative they truly are. From raw humiliation that sparks clarity to manipulation that topples empires, these lessons blend psychological science, historic intrigue, and modern power. Some will sober you, some may disturb you, but every entry reveals a new facet of what it takes to survive and to dominate when the rules are rewritten. Which ruthless insight sits at the very top? Let us begin with number 8. A man stripped of power, spat out by his city, walks the muddy lanes of Sant'Andrea in December 1513. Niccolò Machiavelli, once a trusted official of Florence, now spends his days snaring birds in the woods and trading crude jokes with peasants in the tavern. His name, once spoken in council chambers, is now muttered with suspicion. The Medici have returned, and with them came torture, strappado on the rack, suspicion of conspiracy, and the slow public humiliation of exile. At dusk, he leaves the coarseness of the day behind. He enters his study, removes his stained clothes, and puts on the garments of a courtier. In the flicker of candlelight, surrounded by the silent wisdom of Livy and Tacitus, he finds a second life. 4 hours each night, he interrogates the ancients, feeding on the food that is his alone. In a letter to his friend Vittori, he confesses that here in this solitude, he has written a little work on principalities, extracting from loss the cold clarity that only humiliation can sharpen. No longer blinded by ideals, he sees men as they are, fickle, self-interested, dangerous. Out of disgrace, he forges a manual for survival. The prince is born not from triumph, but from the ashes of defeat. This is where dark intelligence begins, not in conquest, but in the clarity that follows ruin. You learn to watch people the way a chess master watches the board, never for beauty, only for patterns and risk. In the world of psychology, this is called tactical cynicism. It is a measurable blueprint, not a vague suspicion. Richard Christie and Florence Geis spent years building the Mach 4 scale, a set of questions that exposes the mind of the cold strategist. Do you lie easily if it gets you what you want? Do you believe most people are gullible, weak, or selfish? Do you see rules as tools, useful when they help, disposable when they do not? High scores reveal a mind that defaults to emotional detachment, that treats trust as a liability, and prefers manipulation over faith. This is not empty theory. In the late 20th century, psychologists Paul Hoos and Williams isolated a cluster of traits they called the dark triad: Machiavellianism, narcissism, psychopathy. All three share a core, callous calculation, but Machiavellianism stands out for its patience and precision. The Mach mind plans, delays gratification, and shapes the truth to fit the moment. It is not about rage or chaos. It is about control. High Machs thrive in environments where rules are weak and ambiguity is high. They win not by force, but by reading motives, mapping vulnerabilities, and never trusting what is said at face value. But there is a cost. The more you see people as pawns, the harder it becomes to build real alliances. Trust erodes, isolation grows. Still, in a world where naivety is punished, dark intelligence can be the difference between survival and ruin. This is the vocabulary of the dangerously smart, cold, strategic, and always watching. Winter, 1502. The Adriatic wind claws at the walls of Senigallia, but inside the city, the air is thick with forced laughter and handshakes. Cesare Borgia, the Duke Valentino, stands at the center of it all, a man whose smile means nothing and everything. Around him, the condottieri, Vitellozzo Vitelli and Oliverotto da Fermo, accept his embrace, their faces drawn, their eyes darting for exits. Only days earlier, these same men plotted his downfall. Now Borgia offers peace, pardon, and a seat at his table. Machiavelli, watching from the periphery, notes how the ritual unfolds. Generous words, gifts, the illusion of trust. Every gesture is a test. Every glance is a trap. By nightfall, the doors close. Borgia's guards move in silence. Vitelli and Oliverotto are seized, stripped of their swords and led away. That night, in a torch-lit chamber, both are strangled. No trial, no warning, only the cold hands of necessity. By dawn, their bodies are gone. The city is silent. Borgia's banners hang alone above the gates. Machiavelli records it all in his dispatches: the theater of reconciliation, the swiftness of the blow, the doctrine of single-stroke cruelty. No endless purges, no drawn-out revenge, just the mask of friendship, worn until it is no longer useful, then discarded without regret. This is the lesson. Weaponize appearances, lure your enemies in close, and strike only when every variable is under control. In The Prince, Machiavelli holds up Borgia's coup as a masterclass in strategic deception, the kind of intelligence that does not hesitate, does not blink, and does not apologize. To survive among wolves, you must sometimes wear the sheep's skin and know precisely when to tear it off. London, 1943. Two men in naval uniforms stand over a body in a cold morgue, surrounded by the silent bureaucracy of war. The man on the slab, Glyndwr Michael, died alone, anonymous. By dawn, he will become Major William Martin, Royal Marines. His pockets are filled with love letters from a fiancée who never existed, an overdrawn bank statement, a receipt for an engagement ring, and two top-secret letters. The first, signed by General Sir Archibald Nye, hints at Allied landings in Greece and Sardinia. The second, from Lord Louis Mountbatten, buries Sicily in the footnotes. Every scrap of paper, every ticket stub, is a calculated lie. Aboard HMS Seraph, the canister is slid into the Mediterranean off the coast of Huelva, Spain. The body washes ashore, and a fisherman finds it tangled in the morning surf. Spanish authorities recover the briefcase. British diplomats demand its return, loudly and repeatedly playing their part. Meanwhile, German agents photograph every page. In Berlin, the deception fits what Hitler wants to believe. The real invasion will strike the Balkans, not Sicily. Within weeks, German high command diverts troops, artillery, and torpedo boats to Greece and Sardinia. Sicily's defense is thin. On July 9th, 160,000 Allied soldiers land on Sicilian beaches. The resistance is scattered. The campaign is shorter. The cost in lives is reduced. The corpse of a forgotten man rewrites the battlefield. Here, information is not just power. It is a weapon that bends armies, shapes destinies, and kills without a single shot. The lesson is not brute force, but narrative control. When you can make the enemy believe your story, you win before the battle even begins. You enter a world where the rules are written in silence and fear. In prison, power is not a title. It is a currency, traded in secrets and scars. Here, the most dangerous mind is not the loudest or the strongest, but the one who knows how to turn cruelty into a tool, not a reflex. Studies of inmate hierarchies reveal a brutal logic. Impulsive violence gets you noticed, but calculated aggression gets you respected and sometimes obeyed. The man who lashes out without purpose becomes a target. The man who waits, who learns who owes what to whom, who holds information like a blade, is the one who rises. Researchers using the Machiavelli scale inside penitentiaries found that high Machiavellian scorers rarely fight to vent rage. They orchestrate, delegate, and time their moves. Contraband is not just smuggled, it is leveraged. A whispered threat, a favor called in, a rumor placed at the right moment. These shape the invisible map of alliances. Information is the real contraband. Knowing who broke a code, who is in debt, who is about to crack. Those who control the flow of knowledge can orchestrate violence without ever lifting a hand, using intermediaries to settle scores or send messages. Contained cruelty is not chaos. It is the art of inflicting just enough pain at the precise moment to establish consequence without inviting chaos. The lesson is harsh. In low-rule environments, survival favors those who can wield harshness with restraint, who understand that every act of aggression is a signal, a negotiation, a test. The cost is steep, trust is rare, and paranoia is the price of influence. But in the cold calculus of survival, strategic cruelty is sometimes the only logic that endures. You dial a number with a steady hand, voice calm, posture loose. You're not asking for the keys to the kingdom, just the name of a project manager, a forgotten extension, the color of a badge. On the other end, a receptionist hesitates, then answers. You thank her, hang up, and record the detail. This is the slow game, the art of social engineering, patient and invisible, practiced by people like Kevin Mitnick. Mitnick never needed a gun or a hood. He used patience as his weapon, gathering crumbs of information from dozens of calls, each one a harmless favor. He posed as an IT tech, a new hire, a vendor with the right lingo. Over weeks, he assembled a map of Motorola's internal systems, learned which engineer handled which code, memorized the names of spouses and pets. By the time he asked for a password, he sounded like he belonged. The trick was never to seem hungry. He built trust with small, plausible requests, resetting a forgotten login, confirming a software version, chatting about last week's company picnic. Court documents and FBI logs show how Mitnick's method worked. He gathered fragments, an employee directory here, a phone number there, until the whole network unfolded. He never rushed. Each call was a rehearsal for the next. When the time came, he slipped past firewalls not with code, but with charm and memory. He took source code from Nokia, Sun Microsystems, Qualcomm, and Motorola, not by breaking down doors, but by waiting for them to open. This is the power of patient manipulation, the kind that leaves no broken windows, just a trail of trust betrayed. In a digital age, the most dangerous breach is not brute force, but a voice that sounds like yours asking the right question at the right time. If you answer without thinking, you become the weakest link. In a world built on information, the slowest hand often wins the biggest prize. You step into the glass towers of Silicon Valley, where the air hums with the promise of disruption and the scent of ambition. Here, the old rules are not just bent, they are reprogrammed, rewritten, erased. Travis Kalanick, founder of Uber, understood this better than anyone. Growth was not a strategy, it was a religion. Every city was a battlefield, every taxi medallion a relic of a world he intended to conquer. The company code was simple: expand first, answer questions later. Behind the shimmering app, a darker code ran. Uber's engineers built Greyball, a tool designed to outwit city regulators. The algorithms scanned credit card details, device IDs, even the places people opened the app. Suspected law enforcement officers were fed a digital hallucination. Phantom cars that never arrived, rides that evaporated before pickup. In Portland, Boston, Las Vegas, and far beyond, regulators found themselves chasing ghosts. For years, Greyball let Uber slip through legal nets, running circles around city halls. Every blocked sting, every evaded citation was a secret victory, but the mask cracked. In March 2017, the New York Times exposed Greyball to the world. Overnight, the company image shifted from brash innovator to outlaw empire. Investigations multiplied. Cities threatened bans. The US Department of Justice opened inquiries. The myth of untouchability collapsed. Inside Uber, a different poison spread. Susan Fowler, a site reliability engineer, published a blog post in February 2017. She described a workplace where harassment was ignored, where human resources protected high performers and punished whistleblowers. Screenshots, emails, and stories of retaliation painted a portrait of a culture built on fear, not merit. Her words ricocheted through the tech world, igniting an internal investigation led by Eric Holder. Investors watched as lawsuits piled up. Waymo accused Uber of trade secret theft. Benchmark Capital, an early backer, sued Kalanick for fraud and breach of trust, alleging he had concealed the company's darkest risks to expand his own power on the board. Boardroom battles grew vicious. In June 2017, after a final letter from major shareholders, Kalanick was forced to resign as CEO. The lesson is not subtle. Ruthlessness may buy you speed, but when every ally becomes a rival and every rule is just another obstacle, the empire you build can turn on you. The same tactics that conquer new markets can poison the ground beneath your feet. In the end, unchecked Machiavellianism does not just defeat your enemies, it consumes your own house. You are born into a world of masks and mirrors, where every gesture is a signal, every phrase a calculation. The final lesson is not a descent into darkness, but an ascent into mastery, strategic empathy fused with silent dominance. The highest form of power is not the power to destroy, but the power to read, predict, and shape the invisible currents beneath the surface, without ever losing yourself to the game. In the age of digital micro-targeting, your every click, pause and hesitation is catalogued, dissected, and fed into algorithms that know you better than you know yourself. Political campaigns no longer speak to crowds, they whisper to individuals, each message tailored to a fear, a hope, a hidden wound. Cambridge Analytica harvested millions of profiles, building psychological dossiers that could tilt an election with a handful of words. This is not science fiction. This is the battleground of attention, where empathy is weaponized, and the line between persuasion and manipulation blurs to nothing. Research in leadership and negotiation now points to a paradox. Those who see most clearly into the hearts of others, who can map motives, anticipate reactions, and sense weakness, are not always predators. Strategic empathy is the art of stepping into another's mind, not to exploit, but to steer the whole system toward outcomes that endure. Sun Tzu wrote that the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Robert Greene calls it the discipline of restraint, the power to hold back when the easy victory would cost you the war. You become a mirror, reflecting back what others need to see, but never letting their image distort your core. In the boardroom, this means listening more than you speak, asking questions that reveal more than answers ever could. In the digital arena, it means reading between the lines of every message, every like, every slants. Empathy is not softness. It is a scalpel cutting away illusion, revealing the architecture of desire and fear beneath every negotiation. Yet restraint is the shield that keeps your blade sharp. The most credible leaders, those who endure when storms come, are the ones who know when to act and when to wait. Studies show that credibility is not built through displays of dominance, but through disciplined self-control. The leader who lashes out, who exploits every weakness, who manipulates for short-term gain, soon finds himself surrounded by rivals and traitors. The one who holds his fire, who chooses his battles, who uses empathy to bind rather than to break, builds alliances that last. The digital world rewards those who can predict, adapt, and influence, but it punishes those who mistake manipulation for mastery. The difference is restraint. Strategic empathy is not about surrendering your edge. It is about wielding power with such precision that your presence alone bends reality. You become the silent center of the storm, the axis around which others turn. This is the upgrade. Cold clarity, guided by conscience, the discipline to see through others without becoming hollow yourself. In a world obsessed with winning, you learn that the most dangerous mind is the one that can read the room, shape the outcome, and walk away untouched. You do not need to crush your enemies, only to outlast them. You do not need to be loved or feared, only understood as the one who sees, who knows, and who never loses himself to the mask. The final lesson is not ruthlessness, but integration. Strategic empathy, silent dominance, and restraint are the tools of those who survive and shape the future. In the end, the most adaptable, the most dangerous, are those who can hold the sword and the mirror at once and know exactly when to use each. Across all 8 lessons, one pattern dominates. Intelligence without conscience becomes a weapon, not a tool. Whether in boardrooms or backrooms, the real power lies in reading motives, then bending them. These strategies prove that ruthless minds shape the world we live in now. Master the game or be moved by it. Which lesson would you dare to use? Share your thoughts below.